Hi, I'm Tim, and this is Timberway Designs. I started making a series where I take beach rocks that I find, common beach rocks on public beaches, and when I find them, I'm looking for cabochon material. I bring them home, and usually I cut them in half, and nobody gets to see. Well, now I'm going to do 10 rocks a week, cut them in half, and we can see them at the same time. Just common beach rocks. I'm not paying for these. They're not high-end class agates or anything like that. They're just stuff I find on the beach, stuff that you guys can find or walk on or throw in the water or whatever. So I got a 10 here I got picked out, and we'll start cutting in half. And to all you folks that keep coming back, I have a surprise for you at the end of the video. So watch the video, and then I'll have something that might very interest you. If you don't want to watch the video and just go to the surprise, you can be a party pooper and do that, but I'd appreciate if you'd watch the video first. So let's take a look at these rocks here. Okay, here's the 10 rocks I picked out for this week's cutting session, and we'll start at the top and work our way around. So this is a amygdaloidal rhyolite, and it's got little green specks in it. And I don't know if that's prehnite or epidote. So let's get it wet and take a look at it. So as you can see, it's kind of green in there, and then the rhyolite reddish. All right, this one here, I am not sure, but I'm leaning towards a quartzite because it's got kind of a grainy looking texture to it. And then it could be quartz or some other intrusional mineral. So let's get that wet and look at it. So you can see the reason why I picked that up. It's green and white, and then it had a little druzy pocket right there. So, and this one here is another amygdaloidal. Probably rhyolite. Looks kind of reddish. Let's dunk that. These are probably my favorites because you never know what's inside. I mean, it could be an agate in there. It could be all kinds of neat stuff. That's why I pick these up all the time. Okay, this one here is a piece of unakite. It's got epidote and rhyolite and a couple other minerals in there. These things are so pretty. They come in so many different colors or variations, a lot of orange or a lot of green or a mixture of this, and I'm really curious how the inside looks on that. All right, this is a sedimentary rock here. To me, it looked like it had epidote and some granite on the bottom and all kinds of stuff going on. Let's dunk this and see what it looks like. Now you know why I picked that up. I mean, that almost looks kind of bluish down there in the bottom. So that'll be an interesting cut. Got another chunk of granite here. A lot of orange, some white and black specks. Kind of rough looking though. But it's pretty. It's got a good spectrum on it. This one here, I'm leaning towards like an epidote or prehnite. There's prehnite right here. And let's get it wet. Now you can see why I picked that up. I mean, that's almost bluish tinge there. That looks pretty neat. There's some more over here. So I don't know if this is a amygdaloidal or just a conglomeration. This is another chunk of feldspar. And I'm trying to, right there you can see the flash, the planes there. Feldspar, that's a good indicator of that when it does that. And they never disappoint either, and they finish real nice as a cabochon. And this one here, I think is another amygdaloidal, and it had some agate-y looking stuff in it. That's probably why I picked that up. That's So I'm always hoping I cut one of these in half. There's a big old agate right in the middle of it, a superior agate. So there you have it. Oh wait, one more. I think we've got another amygdaloidal here. There's a little tiny bit of rhyolite and a lot of, I don't know, calcite, prehnite. I have no idea. Let's get it wet. You look at it. And just another thing. You just look at it and go, God, I wonder what's inside there. So let's gather these up, take them downstairs, cut them in half, and take a peek inside. All right, we're down here on my 10-inch high-tech lapidary saw with the wobbly blade. And I promise you I will replace the blade soon, but it's just still got some life in it and I want to use it up. So I got the 10 rocks lined up here. Let's start cutting them open and see what's inside. So first on deck, we got this amygdaloidal rhyolite with the green spots on it. And I'm going to cut it just like that. All right, let's see what's inside. Oh, now usually a lot of times I'll pick these up and they won't have the big pockets. You know, you think they're in there, but they are in there. That's kind of cool. All right, next up is this thing I called quartzite, but I don't know. I still don't know what it is, so we'll cut it like that. All right, let's look inside. It's kind of cool. A little red streak going in there. All right, next is this sedimentary rock with the bluish stuff on the bottom. I'm going to cut it like this. Did a cabochon cut. I might have to make something out of that. All right, let's look inside. Ooh, that is interesting. All right. Got this amygdaloidal baby. Hopefully it's a giant agate inside. I'm going to cut it just like that. We got in for a big surprise or not? Let's look. Okay, looks like it's got some stuff in there. We'll get a close look at it upstairs. All right, next up is this piece of granite, just like that. Ooh, that's kind of cool. And here's another amygdaloidal, I think. We're going to cut it just like that. All right, here we go. Ooh, it looks like there's some fortifications there. I'm looking at it through the phone, so I got to get upstairs with some cheaters on to really see what it is. But that looks cool. Okay, one of my favorites, unikite. We're going to slice it open lengthwise. Okay, let's see what this unikite looks like. Ooh, that's really interesting. All right, got this green thing with the prehnite right there. I'm going to split it just like that. Alright, ready for this reveal? That's interesting. And we got this chunk of feldspar quartz mixture. Gonna split it just like that. Okay, here we go. It's got some interesting stuff going on there too. A little green spot on the bottom. And finally, got this piece of amygdaloidal rhyolite with something growing in it. Let's see what's inside. Alright, final one. Here we go. Oh. That's interesting. Alright, let's go upstairs. So we're back upstairs, and I always say back upstairs because my house has a basement, and I keep all my lapidary equipment in a room downstairs. Keep the mess out of the upstairs and not have to work in the garage, especially in the wintertime here in Wisconsin. It can get really, really cold. We got a bag of rocks here. Let's take a close look at them. All right, all the rocks have been cut in half, and we're going to take a closer look at them. So we'll start with this unakite here because I know what this is. So there's the outside. It's green's the epidote. The orange is rhyolite, and the black specks, I'm not sure what they are. And that looks like a crack, but it's full of epidote. So the inside was quite impressive. This will probably get made into cabochons right here. It just looks too cool. Okay, next we had this amygdaloidal, I think, and it's got some interesting patterns in it. Got a little green tinge to it. I don't know if this is basalt or rhyolite. Usually rhyolite's red, and I thought the green right here looked kind of feathery, like a mossy agate. It looks like it to me, the green anyways. We'll have to make a cabochon out of that, see how it comes out. This is our piece of granite, and granite never disappoints. There's always something neat going on in there. And this one is no exception. Got a little green, little green flecks. There's one there. I think there was another one, but up here. There's another one here. I don't know if that's a little epidote intrusion or what the deal is. And this is this green one. I called it quartzite. It might be prehnite. Usually prehnite's smoother though, when it's been rolling up and down the beach. But this has got kind of I like the pattern with the white and the little red streak in there. So this one might be on the cabochon plate too. Now this one here, I probably picked it up because it looked like an agate. It had fortifications, but I wasn't sure. Like right there, you can see some, some squiggly stuff going on. But when you open it up, it's got fortifications in there. So this one is definitely, probably both sides will get made into cabochons. This is just too cool to throw out in the landscaping. Let's get a little closer here. Yeah. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. I'd be curious how all you see this out there. This is another amygdaloidal, and it had some green stuff going on the outside here, but there's good big chunks of it on the inside too. And this rhyolite actually polishes quite well, so this this might be cabochon material too. Not sure what the green is. Not positive. It's not. I don't think it's epidote. Get this one wet. So this is another piece of feldspar with some quartz in there, other stuff. And the feldspar is just cool. And then actually you can see the planes right there, especially the one on the left of the screen. So, and they make cool cabochons because they'll do that even when they're rounded up. So this is another amygdaloidal. And I probably picked it up because it looked cool on the outside. I'm not sure what that is. It looked like the rock, mother host rock busted up and this stuff kind of filtered down in there and solidified. But I don't know. That might do something cool too. And finally, we got this guy here. Had a big hunk of prehnite right there. And I thought, well, maybe there's big hunks of prehnite all through this thing. And you can kind of see why I picked it up. It just looks like it was really promising. So there's the inside. And I think this would make a nice cabochon too. We just have to be kind of choosy, you know, what parts of it I cut. But it's still quite interesting. So when I go out on the beach, when I'm looking for rocks, like I said before, I'm looking for rocks. Oh, we got to do this one here. This is the final one. Right, this was that sedimentary rock, and this looks kind of a bluish green on the bottom. Man, that is nice. I definitely, and it was hard when I cut it, so I know it'll polish pretty. So I'm definitely making a cabochon out of this thing here. This is just... that's probably why I picked it up, because I thought it was blue rock on the bottom there. And I don't know, you know, I think the dark stuff might be rhyolite. I have no idea what the other stuff is. Any of you geologists watching this and laughing at me trying to identify these rocks, you can leave it down below in the comments. But it's a cool looking thing. There you have it. This week's rocks. 10 rocks I cut in half for you and myself. Well, thanks for sticking around and watching me cut these 10 rocks in half. Common beach rocks that you could find, but I found them first and they went in my bucket. So I'd like to thank my subscribers, and like I said, it makes me feel good that I'm putting out content that people really like to watch. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing below, and you know that little thing I got here. And then give me a thumbs up, because that gets the analytics out so other people can see these videos. So I guess that's all I got. Wait a minute. I told you guys I'd have you a surprise. So here's your surprise. I got some really interesting things to show you. So let me turn the camera around. We'll take a look at them. Well, I've had a lot of requests to do something with these rocks. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a cabochon out of 1/2 of every rock I saw in half in this series of rock cutting. So these rocks are from episode 4. So the first one's this large gneiss. And I'm going to put the timestamp where I start cutting them from episode 4. So if you want to go back and watch it, to see the whole rock and then watch it be cut. So this is the rock. And I made a cabochon out of that rock. And it's a cabochon right there. And it come out pretty good. It has a really good shine on it. Nice and smooth. The pattern's a little interesting in there. So, right. The second one was this composite. And it looked like it had some prehnite and some epidote. And I thought the red was jasper, but I think it was rhyolite, because as soon as I started grinding on it, anytime I hit a spot of that, I got a big red streak. So here's the cabochon it made, though. I thought it'd come out really nice too. The clear prehnite, I think, is really shiny. So, all right. The next one is this other gneiss, which had this dark streak running through there. And here is the cabochon that made. And I thought that come out really nice. Play on words there. Okay, and then we had this diorite. Here's the rock. And here's the cabochon. And that come out nice and shiny too. Okay, next we had this jasper with the quartz streaks running through it. Now I had a commenter say it would look good in a certain shape, and that's actually two shapes, but I picked the first shape, and this is I call it a soft triangle here, and this is exquisite. You can see the sparkle from the hematite in there. You got the bands running of the quartz running through there. I think that looks really cool. And it got a pretty decent shine. Okay, and then we had the banded rhyolite. And I thought, well, yeah, this is going to be kind of cool. But there isn't a lot of bands running through it. And this is the cabochon. I managed to get one good band on the bottom there. And the rhyolite, like I said, shines really nice. So I think that made a pretty cool looking cabochon there. It's like it had a little fracture running right through there, but it didn't affect anything. And then we had this green stone. And I thought maybe it was epidote, but I don't think so. Maybe these two pieces here were epidote. So this is it right here. It was rather soft stone, except for these green parts here. But it got a decent shine out of it, especially the green stuff here shined up really nice. The other stuff is just a little ragged, but I think that will come out pretty good. And then I had this feldspar. And you can see the flash right there. And this made an exceptionally beautiful cabochon, I thought. I know it looks like there's holes in there, but it must be quartz or something holding it together, because it's just as shiny as it can be. They don't get much shinier than this. And then I had this piece of granite right here with the quartz running through it. And this one made a really nice cabochon too. And the shine come out really good, especially where the quartz is. There's a little, some little peaks and valleys with where the granite squeezed together there, but that's to be expected. Granite always has some kind of rough edge around it. And finally, we had this piece of amygdaloidal basalt which I was hoping was an agate on top, but I think it was calcite possibly. And that made a really pretty cabochon there. The back side. All right, so there you have it, 10 cut rocks and 10 cabochons made out of those cut rocks. So we took these 10 rocks, I cut them in half, and you can see I actually make cabochons and stuff out of them, because when I'm out on the beach picking them up, that's what I'm looking for is cabochon material. So what I would see, for myself, you probably would see something different for some use that you were going to use them for. Now I'm going to do a plug. I do have an Etsy page. And all these rocks are going to end up there, not tomorrow, probably next week, because I got a lot of stuff going on. But if you're interested in them, they'll be there. Take a look at them, and now you know where they come from. And when I post them on the Etsy, it'll be episode Ep5, whatever rock it is. So you can kind of correlate that to the video if you want to show somebody, say, hey, this rock here, this is how it was made. So I really appreciate you watching and making it to the end here. And that's all I got, and I'll catch you later.